in completing this webinar. Kindly ensure your microphone in Zoom is mute to avoid interruption. Thank you for your keen cooperation and attention to this. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar on the topic Recession Prof Business Strategy for 2023. I'm Novita from STEKOM University, will be your host for today. And welcome to our special guest today. Welcome to the Honorable Dr. Joseph Teguh Santoso, as a Rector of STEKOM University in Indonesia. To the Honorable Mr. Xueming, as a National Senior Professional Manager and Lecturer Business Department from Fuzhou Polytechnic, China. And to the Honorable Ms. Hafizah Abdul Rahim, as a Senior Lecturer and Research Fellow from University Malaysia Perlis in Malaysia. To the Honorable Mr. Wibi Alvianto, as a Graphic Design Lecturer from STEKOM University in Indonesia. And welcome to our special guest today. Yeah, thank you for all for being here with us today. Also, thank you for everyone. We hope you will learn a lot of today. We have planned up for you to be fruitful and engagement. Before we begin, I have a few housekeeping notes here. Today's session is being live streamed on Universitas STEKOM YouTube channel. Further, for the square of this morning agenda, we will open with the Indonesian national anthems and continue with the opening speech by Dr. Joseph Teguh Santoso. And after this session, we will go to time for the presentation by our special guest today. And after the presentation has ended, we will go to in the Q&A session for all the audience. And then time is closing with a session photo together. If you have any question for the speaker, please add them in the chat and we'll be able to answer some of the during the Q&A session after the presentation. And each presentation today will have about 30 minutes for the presentation. Okay, a glimpse of the agenda for today event. And to start today event, we will listen Indonesia national anthems. So Miss Febri are welcome. Thank you. Okay, thank you for playing. And we will go to the next session for the opening speech. And this session will be handled by our Rector, Dr. Joseph Teguh Santoso. Yeah, for Dr. Joseph, the time is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Novita. Hello.
Yes.
Ya, suaranya terdengar ya?
Yeah.
Kurang keras, Pak, suaranya, Pak.
Waduh. Kurang
Sudah lebih baik.
keras.
Sudah cukup, Pak.
Sudah cukup ya. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and honorable guests. Good afternoon also for the students and friends. And this afternoon, it is my pleasure to welcome you at this international webinar with the topic is recession-proof business strategies for 2023, organized by University of Science and Computer Technology or STEKOM University, with collaboration with Fuzhou Polytechnic, China, and University Malaysia, Perlis, Malaysia, STEKOM, Industrial and Vocational Community Association, PERKIVI, and Indonesian Smart Teacherpreneur Association or PTIC, and Topoko.com. Okay, and also thanks for the speakers of this afternoon. It's Xueming from Fuzhou Polytechnic as National Senior Professional Manager and Lecturer Business Department from Fuzhou Polytechnic, China. And also thanks for Ms. Hafizah Abdul Rahim, a Senior Lecturer and Research Fellow at SES from University Malaysia, Perlis. And Mr. Wibi Alvianto M.Pd from as Director and Lecturer from STEKOM University, Indonesia. And also all of my students in here of the lectures who comes to this event. Talking about the topic is recession-proof business strategies for 2023. That we know that a lot of news that we currently hear is about the recession that will come in 2023. So it's already come up in the news and on the website, and several become a very familiar topic and an interesting topic to discuss in this afternoon. And for the usually the government will hold off for months of announcing a recession until one or two things happens, right? So usually the government knows before something happens, but maybe they will not announcing before one or two things happen. So this recession in 2023, maybe it will become worse or not too worse. We still don't know, right? But for the few people that wiser, that we can become wiser than other people, and we can think about what the strategies to pass this recession. For example, as a small business owner, it is very crucial to us to take a step sooner rather than later, to resist to facing this recession, to against the recession, where this recession storm will come. And understandably, usually our reaction to the kind of news of recession is to what we usually do is cut our costs, right? And anywhere that become costs, we cut it, and it is smart to reduce the unnecessary spending for our business, but it is not also become the survival strategy. And to become the strategic things, we need to know how to survive facing this recession. And there is several tips that I will share with you for as a simple strategy. Maybe we can do right now. Is the first one is maybe we can maintain our marketing budget, or yes, maintain our marketing budget, that we can strengthen our customer relationship, give our customer more support, so there's a emotional relationship between our business and our customer, and that we already built. And also improve our customer service. This is also a cost-effective way, and also great way to pass this recession. And second is we also can do something that we know that our business or ourselves is the best at it. So we need to keep innovate in our to stay in our business, but because the recession maybe is a little bit tough, and we need to focusing in our core competencies, what our strength, what is our ability, that our biggest ability, that we can improve it higher than our competitor. So, and the third is we also need to control our finance. Yes, managing our finance, it doesn't mean that always cut something that for cost, but rather it means that we still can being smart about how and when and where that we spend our money, right? And we knowing that is that the time is correct to spend our money. We also knowing that is that our money is in the spending at the correct time, correct place, right? And finally is also smart spending, right? It's called smart spending. And finally also we also can cut non-effective costs in our operation, and try to make it we get a resource that maybe is a little more cheaper and more cost effective. So for example, if we order the same product from the one factory, and then we maybe think over again and how to get another factory that or maybe at lower cost but the same quality. Yes, practically it's just like that. And so, and prepare our finance, so we have the best strategies and the best step for us to pass this 2023. Okay, there's a little bit that I like to share my opinion with all of the audiences today. And once more, and would like to express my gratitude and for the outstanding speakers that will join with us in the international webinars today. and also our partners from various universities and countries. And also thanks for the STEKOM University for the international division, yes, for prepare this international webinar. I hope that you enjoyed this international webinar today. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much for Dr. Joseph for giving your opening speech. And now let's please welcome our first presentation, Mr. Xueming, as a National Senior Professional Manager and Lecturer Business Department from Fuzhou Polytechnic, China. Yeah, for Mr. Yan, the time is yours. Thank you.
A moment, please. We will open the PPT. We'll share it.
是这个吗？
是，
现在可以了吗？
对。但是
你那边分享看得到吗？
你还没有分享。
就这里。
要解除对应，然后共享数据。
是。
现在应该可以。
可以。你那边可以看得到？可以。好。可以的 ，OK。那就开始了哈。声音听得到吗
Okay, so everyone, can you see the PPT?
声音可以吗
Can you hear us?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. 可以。
好，我开始啊。下午好。今天非常荣幸哈，就是有这么一个机会跟大家进行分享我们2023抗衰退商业的策略。我是杨学明。
这个没有动。
哎呦。
这边没有动，就大家看到的就是像我这样子没有动，不对。这个不是这个，分享不是这个，其实用这个，然后您不能把它全那个。就是你不能就这样用，不能把它全大化了之后，他们是看不到。你看这样子是这样。
好，那就这样子吧。
可以，现在可以，对。
好，那我们就开始今天的下午的分享。
Okay, now we will start.
今天下午分享内容分为5个部分，其中特别是第5部分是今天下午的具体，又分为6个小部分来完成。正如目录所示哈。
And so everybody can see from our content that this afternoon we'll share from the 5 points, 5 aspects. And especially for the last one, we will describe from that point in detail.
首先，先跟大家在讨论之前呢，是有一个假设的前提。
First one is about the hypothesis.
今天下午我们分享内容主要研究对象假设是中小微的企业。
And this afternoon we will mainly talk from the small and medium-sized enterprise.
第2个就是研究的环境，我们假设是世界经济和中国经济相结合起来。
And next we will tell from the world economy and China economy.
因为对印度尼西亚经济环境及企业的不了解所以我不好细说。我请观众运用触类旁通的思维来进行今天的下午的分享。
Because we are not so familiar with Indonesia economy, environment, and enterprises, so please use the thinking of analogy.
进入我们的主题，我们先谈一下经济衰退的性质与特点。
And second, we will tell from the nature and characteristic of economy recession.
衰退等级根据它的持续时间、深度及广度可以划分的衰退分点、衰退等级。
From the duration, depth, and breadth, we will divide the grade of recession.
第一个可以分为是轻度的周期性的经济衰退，比如说在美国，每隔3-4年就会出现一次，平均持续大约10个月左右。衰退过后呢，便会出现需求和就业的高涨。
And first one is mild cyclical economy recession. For example, in the United States occurs once every 3 or 4 years, lasting about 10 months on average. After the recession, there is a surge in demand and employment.
第二个类型就是比较严重的持续的经济衰退，我们有的又称之为大萧条。比如说上个世纪的20世纪30年代的美国大萧条，持续时间很长，然后长期的经济停滞，一直持续到经济出现重大转机时才会结束。
And another kind is severe and persistent economy recession. For example, the Great Depression of 1930s, the long-lasting economy stagnation lasted until the economy turned for the better.
右边这张表就是美国历次股市的熊市的表现。
And the table is about the stock market in America. It shows us the stock market show the bear market. So it means the depression in America start.
我们都知道哈，我们股市就是经济的晴雨表。
We know that the stock market can show us the economy situation of a country.
第一个从第一张表的第一行，这一次是1929年的时候，也就是持续到了1931年，持续时间大约33个月，期间的最大的跌幅达到了负的86.2%。
Just like the first one in 1929 September, and it lasted to 1931 June. It lasted about 33 months, and the stock market decreased by 86.2%. So it is a kind of Great Depression.
然后最近的一次就是最后一行所示的2018年9月份开始的。那这个月呢，持续了3.1个月，主要原因是美联储的紧缩，导致于期间的大盘跌幅达到了负的19.7%。
And we can see the last line that it starts in 2018 September and lasted to 2018 December. It lasts about 3 months, and the stock market decreased by 19.7%.
从这张表格统计来看，上个世纪到现在短短的100年之内，美国就發生了16次之多的经济衰退。
So we see from this table that around 100 years in the United States, it happens about over 10 times depression.
那我们现在来了解一下经济衰退的特点。
Next, let's see the characteristic of economy recession.
主要的显著特征有经济增长的速度的减慢，第二个就是订单的减少，接着就是库存的增加、开工不足以及失业率的上升。
There are several characteristics. First one is economic growth slowed down. Second one is order reduction. And third, inventory increase. And fourth is underemployment. And last one is unemployment rate rises.
其实这几个特点之间有内在的因果关系的。比如说经济增长，我们的经济衰退的时候，经济增长自然就减慢了。那经济减慢的情况下呢，企业的订单就会减少，订单减少了，然后相应的库存就会增加，库存增加就导致开工不足，开工不足的情况下呢，我们就人手需要减少，导致于社会上的失业率的上升。
And for these 5 characteristics, they are connected with each other, just like because of the economic growth slow down, so it happens order reduction. And so when the order reduct, So it happens eventually increased. So all these 5 characteristics are connected with each other.
看这边右边2张图表，上图表是美国经济大萧条前后的 GDP 的变化。从图上可以看，这是1929年的时候，美国的 GDP 达到了1000多亿美金。然后呢，大萧条持续到1933年最低谷的时候，一度是跌破了600亿美金。
So we can see from the right curve, it shows us the GDP of America from 1929 to 1937. It shows us that when the recession, Great Depression happens, the GDP slowed down, and after it reached the bottom, it slowly goes up.
那第二张图表就是1929到1933年美国经济大萧条导致的世界的影响。
And below there, it's a table show us the effect of the Great Depression.
其中我们以美国为例，它工业下降呢是达到46.2%，外贸缩减了70%，失业人数达到了1700万人。
And let's take America as an example. The industry decreased by 46.2%. The foreign trade decreased by 70%. And the unemployment number reaches 1,700. It's 1,700 1700万。
然后以日本为例，远在亚洲的日本也受到了波及，它的工业下降了8.4%，外贸缩减了50%，失业人数达到了300万。
And the last issue is Japan, the digit in Japan, the industry decreased by 8.4%, and the foreign trade decreased by 50%, and unemployment number reached 3 million.
那接下来我们谈第二部分，就是经济衰退对购买者的影响。
PPT 没有动，它这边不会动。那应该往右看。要看，不动。我这没动啊，你已经进入下一章了。Okay, sorry, the PPT stopped there. We'll share it once again. 对不对？再怎么弄一下。The signal is not very smooth. Sorry. Okay. 那你已经进来了，现在要去分享。哦。不行，不行。分享，共享视频。好了，可以了。到这张。
到这里没事，是。好，不好意思哈。
Sorry about the signal.
接着我们来聊一下经济衰退对购买者的影响。
And next we will talk about the impact of recession on buyers.
这里的购买者就消费者进行消费方式的调整的程度跟他们所处的处境不同而不同。
The degree to which consumers adjust their consumption patterns varies with their situation.
第一个，我们讲普通群众来说，他们的收入下降，总的来是要节俭生活， 购买物品时会变得更加的精明而谨慎。
For those who decline in income, they will live frugally and become more shrewd and cautious when buying things.
这些谨慎主要表现有，比如说减少度假、减少外出活动、把个人的电子产品的购买计划砍掉等等。
Like they will reduce vacation, reduce outing, cut out purchase, plan of personal electronic products, etc.
那第二波人是高收入群体，这一波人呢，消费者呢基本上不受影响。
For those who have high income, they basically unchanged.
那具体表现，比如说他们继续购买豪华汽车、旅游度假，甚至是挥金如土。
They will continue to buy luxury cars, go on vacation, and spend money like water.
那上面讲的是我们的一般消费群体，这里讲的是工业用户对的影响。
And next, we would like to talk about the industry effect.
主要是购买行为的改变，比如说要提高效率和降低固定成本。
Their trend in purchasing behavior, improve efficiency and reduce fixed costs.
那这些企业主要的困境有呢，比如说销售的下降、生产率下降、设备开工不足以及职工积极性的低落。
And their difficulties mainly in decline in sales, decline in productivity, insufficient startup of equipment, employees' enthusiasm is low.
那主要的一种解决方向是革新产品和节省费用。
The main solution to the difficulty are innovation products and cost saving.
那具体的行为可以有减少某些的采购，寻找价格较低的原材料来源。
And the detailed measures like to reduce some purchase, look for the source of raw materials, low prices. 没有啊，还在。那你再点下一个，哦，又断线了。那你要用我的吗？
太难，
太难了，你用我的吧。Sorry about that. We because of the signal. So, Speaker Yang stopped his PPT, so I would like to share, use mine. I would like to use mine. OK，
这没有可以
可以了吗？没有，这是我的。
啊，
你是看见我了，那你到我这边来讲吧。Sorry about because of some problem. Mr. Yang will use my laptop.可以了。
那第四部分，我们来了解一下2023年的世界经济的形势。
And for the fourth part, we will start to talk about the world economy situation.
左边这张图，我们看一下，这是国际货币基金组织所给的2022年的预测。
From the left chart, when it is IMF, WEO, the budget chart.
以第一个我们柱状体以这是全球为例。
The first part is the global chart.
从22年开始，非常明显，从第一季度到我们的第四季度呈下降趋势。
So we can see from this chart that from 2021, the whole economy goes down.
第二张图是2023年的增长的预测。
The right chart is a prediction for 2023.
同样是以全球为例，从第一季度到第四季度也是呈明显的下降趋势。
We can also see that from the first quarter to the fourth quarter, it also goes down.
所以从这些数据表明啊，2023年整体的世界经济是不容乐观的。
So we can see from this chart that the whole situation of our global economy is not very optimistic.
那2023年哪些不乐观呢？具体有这些。第一个是2023年全球将会出现大范围的增长的放缓。
And so we see from the whole world that the first one, in 2023, there will be a wide-ranging slowdown.
其中全球大约有1/3的国家将在2022年或者2023年发生经济萎缩。
1/3 of the country in the world will have economic contraction.
其中美国、中国和欧元区将继续处于增长放缓或者停滞。
So especially about the United States, China, and Eurozone.
主要原因有3点。第一个是新冠疫情以及季度宽松货币和庞大的财政刺激引发的通货膨胀。
The first factor is because of the COVID-19 epidemic and quarterly loose money and huge fiscal stimulus caused by hyperinflation.
以及欧美等大部分的央行持续的收紧货币政策。
And some countries like Europe and America continue to tighten their monetary policy.
第二个就是乌克兰的战争以及由此引发的地缘政治风险，使得欧洲遭遇到了能源的危机。
The second one is the war in Ukraine, and it caused energy crisis in Europe.
第3点讲的中国的形势，由于经济结构调整抑制了国内的需求，恰逢内外的抗疫压力的逆转，中国经济估计在2023年增长势头也会放缓。
And the third one is about China. Because of the adjustment of economic structure, restrained domestic demand. So it coincides with the reversal of internal epidemic pressure. The economic growth momentum of China has obviously slowed down.
那外围已经讲了，现在就要讲我们今天的中心，我们中小企业面对2023年这种的经济状况，我们该怎么做？
So after analysis of the global economic situation, now we will go to the small and medium-sized enterprises, see how these small and medium-sized enterprise should contact with the situation.
概括来说，我们企业的困境有，比如说销售的下降，导致于售价的下跌，以及成本的上升，最后导致于盈利水平的下降。
The enterprise dilemmas mainly are decline in sales price drop, rising costs, decline in profitability.
以此，我们企业应当怎么做呢？企业的任务主要有3大，第一是提高的售价。第二就是销量的提高，第3叫成本降低。
So for the enterprise, their tasks mainly are to raise the selling price, to increase their sales, to decrease their cost.
好，接着我们来细说。第一个是客户组合的角度，主要的想法是应当是设法扩大市场份额。
The first one is to try to expand the market share.
首先，我们讲具体的说，第一要反思企业的目标市场。
First one is to rethinking the target market.
考虑有2个角度，第一个就是考虑哪些市场最具有发展潜力，哪些市场正每况愈下，逐年萎缩。
Consider which markets have the greatest development potential and which markets are going from bad to worse.
第二个反思就是从正在萎缩的市场腾出力量来建立起或者进入更有前途的市场。
The second one is to free up power from the shrinking market to build or enter a more promising market.
具体的策略3个，第一就是要细分市场，发现新的顾客；第二点就是要开拓国际市场，增加出口；第3个要改进服务，提供增值服务。
The strategies are, first one is to segment the market and find new customers. Second one is open up the international market and increase exports. And third is to improve service and add value service.
那我们举个案例，主要是中国境内企业娃哈哈公司的案例。
Now I would like to share with you a case in China. It's Wahaha and children juice, children drinking juice.
因为时间关系，我就不展开，只是一件案例高度概括一下，跟大家做个分享。
So I will say it in general.
娃哈哈是，比如说从调查的角度，调查到了国内的生产的营养液，虽然林林总总有38种，但都属于老少皆宜的全能型的产品，没有一种是儿童专用的营养液。然后它的决策是选择儿童专用药品营养液作为细分市场进入，然后呢制定了一系列的营销组合策略，最后取得了很大成功。
And I'll say it in general that this brand Wahaha, it's fine that there are 38 kinds of nutrient solution produced in China. None of them are special nutrient solution for children. So it make a decision. Instead of producing 39 all-purpose nutrition solution, it's produced the first child-specific nutrient solution. So select the child-specific nutrient solution as the target market and formulate a set of marketing mixed strategy.
这就是市场细分的魅力。
So it achieved great success in business.
那第二个呢，角度是从产品组合与产品设计的角度，总的来说是经济开始下降，也就是我们企业开始分析产品的时候。
The second one is to mix and design the product. When the economy begins to decline, so the enterprise should analyze their products.
分析从2个角度展开。第一个，实际上经济下降的时候，也就是我们企业需要反思的时候。
So when the economy is declining, it is also the time to reflect.
第二个，分析的内容主要是产品的盈利率。
We have to think about the profit of the product.
具体的策略有4项，第一个是淘汰疲弱的产品，第2项是增加经济实惠的型号，第3是加强盈利产品的优势，第4个就是创新产品。
The strategies are eliminate weak products, increase economical models, strengthen the advantages of profitable products, and innovation.
那这里我们举的一个例子就是自发光的手套。
Then I would like to show you self-luminous gloves.
那这款手套啊，我们高度的概括说，让双手在工作的同时，能更好的解决照明问题，让人在黑暗的情况下更方便的去操作，极大的提高了工作效率。
This self-luminous glove light source enable both hands to better solve the lighting problem while working, make it easier for people to operate in the dark, and greatly improve the work efficiency.
这就是产品创新的很好的例子。
It's a very good case of innovation.
第3个角度，从定价概括来说，经济衰退的时候呢，价格是竞争的焦点。
And the third one is about pricing. During the economy recession, price is the focus of competition.
那首先呢，要从2个角度去检讨。第一个检讨是要检查定价的策略。第2个是要强调价格还是强调价值。
We have to reflect from 2 points. First one is to track the pricing strategy. The second one is to emphasize on price or value.
那具体的策略我们提供3个。
We offer 3 strategies for this reflection.
第一个，我们要分类别来说，是形象良好的产品优质的公司，应当是强调价值，避免运用廉价的战术。
The first one is a company with good image and high quality products, emphasize values and avoids using cheap tactics.
第2种类型是进取性的价格战术的企业，可以降低原定的价格，或者以其他方式抛出比较低的实际价格。
And second, enterprises with aggressive price tactics can lower the original price or quote to a lower actual price in other ways.
第三个应当是注意事项，不能够直接的降低标价，应该愿给顾客回扣、低息融资、免费维修和延长保修期等方法。
The third one, it's not advisable to directly reduce the price tag, but to use such as methods giving customers rebates, low interest financing, free maintenance, and extending the warranty period.
那这里的举的例子是中国的电器著名企业格力公司。
Now I would like to give you an example of GRI in China.
格力电器啊，它没有打价格战。
And for GRI, the company, it did not use the price strategy.
格力电器在2021年3月1号起销售家用空调实行了10年的免费保修。
It announced the implement year free warranty service for household air conditioning.
而是从售后开始入手，不仅打得对手措手不及，而且受到了消费者的好评。
It took a different approach, starting with after sales, only caught the competitors off guard, but also won the praise of countless consumers.
第四个角度就是分销，总的来说是消费者形成新的购买习惯。
The fourth one is about distribution. Customers form new buying habits.
具体的来说，消费者呢，第一个是收入的减少，然后第二项就是购买新的习惯的形成，比如说到更加便宜的零售商店。
For those customers, they decrease in income, so they will start to form a new buying habits, like going to cheaper retail stores.
所以我们给出的具体的策略建议就是大众化的经销商和折扣的商店，比如说旧后商店、厂方、门市部等等的渠道。
So for this kind of situation, we can use popular dealers, discount shops, second-hand shops, and factory outlets.
那从分销的，我们这里讲，举个例子是优衣库的例子。
For this strategy, I would like to share with you a case of Uniqlo.
优衣库它通过低价来获取更大的市场份额，以吸引更多的消费者，同时它带来了非常优秀的消费体验。最重要的一点是，优衣库在服装质量上比任何的奢侈品大牌比肩。
Uniqlo sales gain more market share, attract more consumers through low price, and most importantly, Uniqlo, the quality is not bad, is as good as some luxury brand in clothing.
第五个角度是广告与促销。总的来说，我们要重新考虑广告的支出、内容和广告媒体以及促销措施。
The fifth one is about advertisement and promotion strategy.
那具体的来说，重新考虑的内容有：第一个，广告支出是否合理；第二项是广告内容是否合情合理或者科学；第三个就是广告媒体渠道的选择；第四个就是促销的措施。
For the advertisement, we have to reconsider its expenditure, its content, its media, its promotion measures. We have to reconsider it is reasonable or not.
具体策略有：第一项是削减广告的费用；第二项是减少形象的广告；第三，对大拍卖进行宣传；第四，要选择性价比高的广告媒体。第五项，从促销角度，应当多做一些折扣券、买一送一的拍卖、销售竞赛和兑奖等等。
After reconsidering those advertisement, we offer some strategies. And just like number one, cut advertising expense, reduce image advertising, promote the big auction, choose cost-effective advertising media, and discount coupons, buying one, get one free, auction, sales competition, and redemption.
那我们这里举的例子是一个酒店 一个酒的公司叫江小白。
And here I would like to share with you another example, and it's called Jiang Xiaobai. Actually, it's a wine company. It's a wine brand.
江小白的公司啊，定位是年轻人的市场，选择以江小白这个漫画人物形象来跟观众见面。2017年的时候，江小白的酒业携手2点十分动心，我是江小白的同名动画，让动画圈通过大放异彩。
And Jiang Xiaobai locates the young people's market, choose to meet the audience with the cartoon characters of Jiang Xiaobai. In 2017, the animation of the same name, I'm Jiang Xiaobai, produced by the liquor industry in collaboration with 2.10 animation, made a great splash.
最后一个角度就是销售队伍与顾客的服务，总的来是要鼓励销售队伍更加的努力工作。
The last one is to form a good sales team and offer customer service.
总的来说，销售队伍啊，其实是困难重重，精神不振，这是现状。
The main situation of the sales team is it's not so active and is a bit depressed.
那我们给出的策略是：第一个是应当是企业要进行大额奖金的推销竞赛活动；第二个是对我们的员工进行进一步的培训；第三个要大力拓宽，比如说新的渠道、电话、邮寄销售；还有第四项要谨慎取消某些顾客服务的项目。
The strategies to the sales team depression is to, first one, big bonus sales competition activities. Second, the further training for those teams. Third, to telephone and mail sales. And fourth, to carefully cancel some customer service projects.
好了，今天因为时间关系，只好简要的跟大家进行分享到这一些。
And because of the time limit, we will stop here. So if you have any question, you can put forward. Thank you.
谢谢。
Thank you so much for Mr. Rian for excellent presentation. Yeah, thanks for the advice and ways to get us ready for the next year recession. Maybe and then for question, will be give after our presentation. Have already done for presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Sorry about the signal because we two sit together this afternoon, and maybe Speaker Young's laptop some problem. So anyway, we successfully did it. We did it. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for Mr. Yan. And
Okay.
then
Go
the
on,
next,
please. Go on,
yeah.
please. Okay.
And then the next session, this is speaker from Universiti Malaysia Perlis, Miss Hafiz Abdul Rahim. Yeah, for Miss Hafiz, the time is yours.
Okay, momennya. Okay, thank you very much, beautiful Miss Chairperson, Miss Anggi Novita. Okay, Assalamualaikum and greetings to the honorable panelists for today's webinar, Mr. Pak Joseph, Mr. Yang Xueming, and after this, Mr. Wibi Ardi Alvianto, respected professors, associate professors, lecturers and students who are watching with the live in YouTube and as well as in Zoom room. Okay, first and foremost, I would like to take this opportunity to thank to the organizer, STEKOM University, and collaborators institution in Indonesia and China for inviting me to be a part to be a part of this privileged webinar. Okay, let me introduce myself. I'm Hafizah binti Abdul Rahim. I'm from Universiti Malaysia Perlis. I'm representing my Center of Excellence for Social Innovation and Sustainability. And also I am a senior lecturer as well as program chairman for postgraduate program at the Department of Business at Faculty of Business and Communication in Universiti Malaysia Perlis. Basically, my passion for research is economy and peace. So I will present recession-proof business strategies for 2023. Particularly, I will focus on the Malaysia economy's perspective. Okay. Okay, so this is the outline of my presentation today. I will touch a very brief on global recession and then Malaysian economy at a glance, and then we will go and understand what actually the recession-proof business, and then how to a recession-proof business to be implemented among entrepreneurs, business owners, so on and so forth. Okay, and the last part I will touch what actually Malaysia strategies on recession-proof business as a macroeconomic point of view. Okay, so when we talk about a global recession, okay, so to understand what it means by global recession, we should understand the definition of recession itself. Okay, a recession is usually characterized as a significant decline in general economic activities. We can see when the declining in economic activity, so we can see that we call as a recession. Okay, in specific region. Sometimes it's just happened in this area, Asia, sometimes in Europe, so on and so forth. Okay, so the most popular rule of thumb definition of recession is we can identify by two definition of where recession happen by two consecutive quarters of declining gross domestic product GDP. And also the markers of recession include the decline in real income, employment, industrial production, so on and so forth. Okay. So in this part, I show you the four major recession or crisis hit Malaysia. Okay, because Malaysia independence in 1957, so started 1980s. Okay, that was the first crisis hit Malaysia. In 1985 to 1986, the crisis of commodity shock, which is Malaysia fell into its major recession post-independence in 1985, triggered by the US high interest rates policy, which is at that time known as Volcker shock. Okay, so that result massive collapse of global commodity trades. Okay, so this situation, the nation economy, especially in Malaysia at that time, reached at unemployment rates at 8% at that time. Okay, so this is how Malaysian government respond, how to reduce the state spending under contractionary fiscal policy as exchange rate devaluation, and decided to shift towards private sector. Okay, so the second part is that was the worst significant financial crisis occurs and hits Malaysia was ASEAN financial crisis. This crisis began as a currency crisis in Thailand, set off a series of currency devaluations and massive flights of capital from Asian region. Okay, and also included Malaysia. But net portfolio at that time, investment shrank to deficit about ringgit Malaysia 12.9 billion in 1997 from a surplus of 10.3 billion in 1996. So the GDP contracted 6.7% in 1998. So at that time, still remember, the ringgit fell to its lowest of again the US dollar in January 1998. Okay, so what Malaysia did is Malaysia fixed the ringgit exchange to the US dollar and introduced selective capital control and announced 2 billion fiscal stimulus package as a part of policy to respond. Okay, so the third one is in 2008. Okay, that was a global financial crisis was triggered by bursting of a speculative bubble in the US housing market in 2008. Okay, that impacting Malaysia in terms of trade and investment. Okay, so share price in Malaysia fell by 20% between 2007 and 2009. A massive exodus of short-term capital flow took place, and export fell 45% between July 2008 and January 2009. So the economy at that time contracted by 1.7% in 2009. So government released to fiscal stimulus program amounting about ringgit Malaysia 67 billion and responded with expansionary monetary policy with central bank negara, where we call in Malaysia Bank Negara Malaysia. So the latest and the current crisis is not only what we call occurred or hit Malaysia, but also all around the globe. Okay, the spread of COVID-19 virus impacted the health and economic landscape all countries all over the world. Okay, so in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Malaysian government declared a movement control order on 18 March 2020, where all except of the most critical economic industry were instructed to shut down. Okay, so this situation has virtually being reflect to the GDP, which grew by 0.7% in first quarter 2020, and then after the third quarter, Malaysia officially declared that an economic recession into 2020. Because it shows the negative growth quarter. So to reflect this, 4 major significant global recession hit Malaysia. So we can see here the Malaysia annual real GDP growth from 1980 to 2020 has reflected in 1985, and the worst one in 1998, and then subprime crisis 2009, and the latest one negative 5.6 in 2020. So now I move a bit in a glance of Malaysia economy. So in this situation, we can compare world advanced economies, emerging and developing economies, as well as Malaysia. We can see here in 1997, 1998, the only what we call the GDP shows the sharply decline for GDP to Malaysia as compared to other countries in the rest of the world. But what happened in 2020-22, we can see here major countries. We can say that around the globe affected due to COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so on my what we call my right graph here, we can see here how the GDP, consumer price index, and employment rate reflect due to this global recession, especially in the 2020. So this is I moving forward to the situation that the major sectors contributed to the GDP Malaysian GDP based on the structure of production. Okay, we can see here agriculture sectors, mining, construction, manufacturing, and services. But in this situation, we can see that the service sectors, okay, even though it's Malaysian hit by the recession in 2020, but still this percentage, the amount of contributed to the GDP, Malaysian GDP, still higher as compared to other sectors. Okay, because I'm highlighting here the service sector here because I want to reflect what we're going to synchronize with the what we call that recession proof business strategy in the next slide. Okay, so this is to show you based on the Bank Negara or Central Bank Negara based on the Department of Statistics, we can see this is the situation of 2020 to 2020. We can see major sectors here decline in terms of percentage growth for each of the sectors, but we can see when it comes to finance and the service sector, which is the subsector of service, with finance and insurance, real estate and business service, we can see here in 2020 affected by COVID-19. Still we can still still as compared to the previous 2019-2020, we can see the what we call the percentage still increase as compared to a year before. And then we can see in 2020-21 an increase a bit higher. So reflecting to the topic that we are discussing today, actually, it has been warned by the World Bank that there will be what we call the central bank around the world have been rising interest rates in this year with the degree synchronicity not even the past 5 decades, and then the trends is likely to continue well into next year, and then this is expecting that is going to be another recession in 2023. And it also highlighted by our governors, Tan Sri Nur Syamsiah Muhammad Yudus. She warns that Malaysia will sail into a challenging economic climate in 2023 as the worsening supply chain, geopolitical uncertainty and market volatility could upset the growth. Okay, to that extent, with the warning by World Bank as well as Bank Negara Malaysia or Central Bank of Malaysia, this is how the business owner, the entrepreneurs should take what we call this situation that is very important to do something before we move to the next 2023. Okay, so we can see that a recession does not arrive at every location throughout the country at the same time. Okay, similarly, some industry are hit first, others are hit harder. Therefore, even when national statistics shows a broad-based slowdown is occurring, entrepreneurial executive, what we call the business owner, need to assess to the extent to which their own industry is affected. So basically, the principal predictor of likely impact is cyclicity, cyclicality of the industry. There are 3 types of principal predictor, which is a cyclical industry, counter-cyclical industries, and non-cyclical industry. What actually this predictor helps for each sector, for each industry that we have in Malaysia. So the performance for the first one, cyclical industry, the performance of the cyclical industry coincide with the phase of the business cycle. It's just we can see it's mirroring the business cycle situation. Therefore, the recession cyclical industry is characterized by stable or falling price, okay, a decrease in corporate spending, for example, a decline in real earning, okay, excess production capabilities, and high unemployment. So this is how we can see cyclical industry will reflect to the recession situation. So normally the economy, the example of cyclical industries includes jewelry, precious metal, automakers, apparel and textile products, okay, paper, okay, computer manufacturing, home builders, real estate sales, hotel, for example, airlines, media, and electronics. So we can see, okay, based on the example of cyclical industry, we can see and reflect what happened, especially I'm talking about in Malaysia economy. So this kind of industry like hotel, tourism industry, airline industry has been hugely impacted during the recession, for major recession that, especially the latest one, COVID-19 crisis. And the second type is a counter-cyclical industry, an industry that typically does well during recession, and a counter-cyclical industry characterized by an increase in earning, okay, a rise in employment, an increase in consumer spending. Okay, so counter-cyclical industry typically perform well in recession because they provide the consumer with cost saving on necessity products. Okay, therefore generic products and discount warehouse improve their profit performance as consumers seek to save money on necessary purchases, especially during the recession. And the last part is the non-cyclical industry. These types actually does not follow any cycle. Okay, so its performance is unrelated to the state of the economy. During recession, consumer will continue to their expenditure on necessity products such as food, healthcare. Okay, in fact, healthcare and drug companies claim among the top 10 what we call the important companies during the recession. Okay, so the farming industry, especially in agriculture industry, that was this is only another prime example of non-cyclical industry. For example, during the COVID-19 recession, so the what we call the supply of food, necessary food, okay, rice, for example, start due to, you know, difficult time at that time. So we can see the people start to move to the agriculture sector. Okay, so the recession's major impact on farmers was the beneficial due to lowering of interest rate. So other non-cyclical industry that tend to perform well during recession include accounting, auditing, bookkeeping service, cleaning service, toilet goods. Okay, overall recent experience suggests that consumers are willing to continue spending on service while cutting back purchase of products. Okay, so this is why I highlighting in the previous slide here, okay, on the service sector. Okay, because this is the evidence under non-cyclical industry, GDP for service increased during every quarter of the last recession. Okay, So now we move to the next part, which is the how to recession proof a business. What actually the strategies? Okay, what actually strategies to recession proof business? Okay, for example, we gone through, we understand the what we call the concept of recession, the financial crisis due to pandemic COVID-19. Okay, so one of us, many business owner, entrepreneurs in Malaysia feeling frustrated, defeated, angry and overwhelmed due to the recession and affect their business at the same time. Now, with the economy showing sign of yet another downturn will happen 2023, so it's time for business owner to take a step back, okay, to reassess, okay, reassess their activities, okay, and think about ways to become recession proof, how they should prepare, how they should to be they anticipate, okay, in the future if let's say that proven that next year going to happen recession, downturn again. So few companies out there are immune to a cooling of the economy. So like giant like Google are affected by its spending dropping all the way down to small businesses, where small business marketing might be less effective as consumer look to spend less, especially during the recession. Okay, so at the same time, we can see the central bank is gradually increasing interest rates to fight back against rising inflation. And for business owner or entrepreneurs, retailers, traders, okay, that means it will be harder to get loan and financing that they need due to the rising interest rate. So it's also going to make more expensive for ordinary people to buy consumer staple like foods and petrol, for example. So there are many ways that business owner or entrepreneurs can become recession proof and still profitable and even grow during the hard time, especially during downturn. Okay, it is not to panic, okay, but it is time to make some changes in business so the business owner can weather the storm. Okay, that's why we have what we call a schedule of weather the storm, so we can predict. Okay, so this is important, prepare, especially for business owners, entrepreneurs, so on and so forth. They have to predict what going to happen in the future. So in this case, I'm in this part, I will share 8 strategies prove a recession proof business for business owner, retailers, or what we call that entrepreneur, which actually this part I will touch more on the micro part for action taken by business owner or entrepreneur. Number 1 is lemons to lemonades, okay, which is during the recession, okay, supposedly entrepreneur or business owner should retool business by getting a return rich dividend in the form. Okay, so once economic downturn does begin, okay, the business lean and mean machine can beat for to the competition. So the proper preparation will shift the challenges to a great opportunities. So this is the concept of lemon to lemonade. Okay, so the second strategy is a plan for the growth. Okay, plan for the growth, where this situation is business owner or entrepreneurs should focus on the business, strengthen the market position by developing initiative to win new customers. Okay, identify target customers, and then they have to plan for the operation more efficient. Okay, as simple as quickly respond to the customer queries. Even though some business owner, they think that responding to the customer is a very a very simple action, but that actually bring a major impact to the business. Okay, so in other situation, on time delivery, quality can cultivate loyal repeat customer for your business. Okay, so based on Harvard Business Review study found that the successful companies tend to use fund from reduced operation, okay, to invest productivity in boosting technology. So that the second strategy. And the third strategy here, okay, the third strategy here is trim inventory. Okay, what actually trim the inventory? Why? Okay, so this strategy says inventory is drag on profit at any time. Okay, and it also can spark the failure of the business, and bloated inventory will lead to the business shutdown. Okay, so business owner or entrepreneur should manage their inventory, okay, through technology, because currently the latest business that business owner and entrepreneur should engage is the technology. Okay, so through technology is easier to monitoring the inventory. Okay, and apart from that, good relationship with vendor, getting discount and make loyalty known among them, that what has been discussed by a previous panel, Mr. Yang just now, they should have some discount between business owner and vendors. Okay, so in this situation, it will help supplier in managing inventory control. Okay, so the fourth one is serve new customer. Okay, we especially it's really new normal for us after COVID-19. Okay, so we serve the millennials, means moving to mobile. Okay, so we call as new customer as millennials. Okay, so millennials are not paying attention to the traditional marketing. They always with the phone every time. Every single second they will be with the handphone. Okay, offer something special to the millennial because these millennials, the new customer, hunt for social media like powerful media, Facebook and TikTok. Okay, so this is 4 strategies, the important 4 strategies to recession-proof business. And then the fifth strategy is control cash flow. Okay, this situation, okay, business owner or entrepreneur who are concerned and anticipating a downturn that going to happen next year, okay, the smart management cash flow is important. Okay, so they have to monitor closely because cash is a two-way street. Okay, monitor quickly flow out and as well as come in. Okay, because the goal for the business owner and entrepreneur during downturn, okay, during the recession, is to stay liquid. Okay, so the next strategy is trim fixed costs. Okay, it also has been mentioned by Mr. Yang just now. Okay, the business owner should watch and monitor the fixed costs. Okay, for example, lease payment, okay, depreciation on and building related expenses, for example. Okay, in a declining market, okay, fixed costs tend to eat into the bottom line. Okay, so cutting fixed costs can spark dramatic increases in profits. So this is how trim the strategy of trim fixed costs going to help during the recession. And the 7th strategy is secure working capital and diversify funding sources. We have to believe, especially business owner and entrepreneur, we learn about what we call factors of production. The capital, okay, the cash is king. Okay, so working capital is the appearance that business owner or entrepreneur should need enough reserve financial capability to tide them during the cash flow squeeze, okay, during the recession. So one way to trim outstanding debt okay, postpone major initiative unless they promise to generate a timely significant revenue to your business. Okay, in terms of diversified fundings, okay, healthy cash flow will make bank happy with business owner and entrepreneur when they are making loan. Okay, so this is important. Okay, cultivating a secondary financing relationship with the bank, okay, and also sell unneeded asset using cash to pay down debt and reduce leverage. Okay, and the last strategy for business owner and entrepreneur is retool and recharge. Okay, so what actually retool and recharge? Okay, no one is happy when economy suffered or economy downturn. Okay, view the recession as opportunity, not a threat. So this is important, the mind of entrepreneur and business owner. You cannot see that the downturn is your threat. Okay, the downturn, what we call downturn, economic suffered. This is the opportunity for your business. Okay, so expanding business when downturn arrive, even though business owner or entrepreneur will not making as a fat margin, okay, that will be good as compared to we just let it what happened due to recession. So it's okay lah, let it go. Cannot. Okay, so the mind setting of this entrepreneur or what we call the business owner should always think that this is opportunity. So good business make money in good times and bad times. Okay, remember on that. So, and the winners are those that adapt best to challenging condition during the downturn. Okay, not forgetting that endless employee that we have our employee, we have worker in our company. That is important. Okay, to keep employee in the loop and that let them know that economists are predicting a recession, for example, next year. So rather than causing panic tension when we arrive 2023. So let them speak up with the idea. Okay, when the recession hits, okay, Asian moral busting layoff in favor of more productive level saving adjustment, okay, such as our reduction, follow, okay, part-time position and performance pays, perhaps. Okay, so this is the 8 strategies that should be focused as in micro part as in the shoes of entrepreneur or business owner. So now I move to the last slide for today's presentation, which is I'm looking at the macro perspective, what actually Malaysian government do to protect what we call the business owner, entrepreneurs during the recession. So in other words, we can say that Malaysia recession-proof business strategy that what we call that they implemented, going to implement it. So here again, I highlighted here the what we call the major contributor of GDP in Malaysia is service sector, and second industry or manufacturing sector, and the third that is a bit important, okay, after COVID-19 pandemic is agriculture sector. So these sectors, okay, important by helping SME. Okay, so as I presented earlier, that I mentioned that contributing sectors to Malaysia GDP are service. Okay, so we can see it's not only the situation of COVID-19 pandemic, but also the conflict of Russia-Ukraine and brought much uncertainty to the world economy. So in Malaysia, inflation slowly trickle into economy through the rise in industrial and agriculture inputs price early in this year. So we can see the price of food like chicken rapidly rising, okay, market for vegetable, and eventually processed food also increase. So the local inflation has worsened by the weakening ringgit, and now we are hitting 4.5, 4.9 ringgit to $1. Okay, so given the exponential growth in local money supply, the higher budgetary spending, the wavering ringgit, and expanding money supply within the economy, so a perfect economic storm is brewing, fueling inflation. But the only savior for the Malaysian economy is the current export boom. Okay, the nation export-oriented industry are prospering, as is Petronas with the high oil price. Malaysia's corporate economy is robust. Okay, with the banking sector making bumper profits, telcos and high technology companies growing, and companies operating with monopolistic and oligopolistic conditions showing a strong profit level. However, this in Malaysia, recession-proof business strategy is focusing. I agree with Mr. Yang just now that SME, small medium enterprise, that usually operates with hand-to-mouth cash flow, lacking capital to expand, and dependent upon their local markets, are feeling the pinch. Okay, so households are facing rising food price with relatively low wages due to inflation and curtailing their spending. Thus, this 4 important points here: industries, service industry sectors, resilient supply chains, digital resilience, and adoption of technology in agriculture sectors. Government and Malaysia, Bank Negara Malaysia, okay, the Central Bank of Malaysia, has provided additional funds worth ringgit Malaysia 4.5 billion to assist SME, which cover about 14 programs and facilities under the area of focus, like access for financing, for example, and the human capital development, giving training to the business owner, okay, small medium enterprise, and then provide a market access to promote the local products, okay, innovation and technology adoption and infrastructure. Okay, so example that we have in Malaysia, like SME Corps, okay, the business advisory services and SME Hub, for example, the program that they provide in order to help SME, okay, giving the training on cash flow management that reflect what I mentioned, the 8 strategies, recession-proof business strategy just now. So as a resilient supply chain, okay, SME Hub under one of the Malaysian agency, okay, one-stop center that SME Resources has established in 2006. This is the platform that online information gateway that provide comprehensive information on financing, training, as well as government initiative and support program for entrepreneurs and micro, small, and medium enterprise. Okay, so we reflect to the current situation of crisis due to COVID-19. Okay, financial support initiative for COVID-19 will announce what we call staggered, okay, time by time, like 2020 economic stimulus package, okay, Prihatin Rakyat economic stimulus package on March, and then Prihatin SME economic stimulus package, and the latest one is Penjana stimulus package to help business to recover from the impact of the global pandemic. Okay, so in conclusion, when we talk about crisis, we talk about recession, there must be opportunities for business owner, entrepreneurs, retailers, what we call that, traders, okay, whoever involved in the business chain, okay, or business economic activities. So as I explained earlier, okay, the key of the overall this presentation is preparing for the worst, and then we always must remember that switching all the turbulent obstacles to a great opportunities. So whatever we have to we have now is we have to face it, and we have to grab whatever opportunity we have. With that, thank you.
Thank you so much for Miss Hafizah for the amazing presentation. And then the last speaker, this is time for Mr. Wibi Ardi Alvianto. Yeah, for Mr. Wibi, the time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Novita, for give time for me to present my material about recession. So I want to share my PPT. Okay, share. Can you see my PPT clearly?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So, hello everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. Let me introduce myself. My name is Wibi Ardi Alvianto. As a lecturer of STEKOM University, graphic design. Thank you for the opportunity given to me and the Honorable Counselor of STEKOM University, Dr. Joseph Teguh Santoso, M.Com, and all of the great speakers of today's webinar, and of course, all of the audience today webinar. So I'm very happy to able to present material about recession proof business strategies for 2023. So I think of the material, so we create introduce for two speakers. So I'm just giving about this recession a little bit, because the speakers, I think it's very great and very enough to describe about proof business strategies for 2023. So this is my presentation. So my title of the presentation is Survive, how you survive the recession in 2023, but not about yourself and your family, yeah, about your business, your career in 2023. So I want to know how we can survive. We can about save money in 2023. So this is definition recession for me. Recession is term used to describe situation in which a country's economic turnover turns slow or get worse. This slowing economic turnover can last quite a long time, even years. As a result, the growth of country gross domestic product (GDP) declining for 2 quarters and continuously. So recently, the virtual world has been shocked by the word recession. Because of the popularity of this word, many people feel anxious about welcoming 2023. Next year is also predicted to be a dark year. So recession is economic term. Describe the country economic cause various factors. What is the true recession? Why are so many people so worried when it does happen? Let's peel one by one about the recession in the following description. So, cause of economic recession. First, inflation. Inflation is a condition where price rise continually both for goods and service. Second, excessive deflation. Deflation is a condition in which the price of goods and service fall over time. Third, the asset bubble bursts. This can happen when investors take steps gradually. 4. Sudden economic shock. This is marked by decreased purchasing power due to financial difficulties and other serious problems such as perils of debt. GDP itself can be interpreted as a country economic activity during one period. So, if a country experiences continuous decline in economic activity for 2 periods, then the country can be said to be in a recession. Meanwhile, the National Bureau of Economic Research and PER, which is located in the United States, defines a recession as a condition in which a country experiences a significant decline in economic activity within a period of several months in terms of GDP, income, employment rate, industrial production, wholesale retail sales. So about inflation, you know about inflation condition where price rise continue both for goods and service. This price increase has an impact on weakening people's purchasing power, which will later be followed by a decrease in the production of goods and service. If left unchecked for a long time, this will result in high employment due to the mass labor, poverty, and recession. And about excessive deflation, if the unemployment rate increases continuously, this will result in an increase in the crime rate. Broadly speaking, in a recession situation,
For our
so, okay. So, I'm sorry about this error. So, about the excess deflation. Deflation can also have a bad influence and trigger a recession. Deflation is a condition in which the price of goods and services fall from time to time, which ultimately resulting in decrease in the wage paid. Deflation is also characterized by delay in purchasing good or service until the lowest price. This is, of course, very risk for business owner. This is because even though people's purchasing power is likely to increase, in fact, business owner must reduce production costs, which will result a loss for a business. If people or business units stop doing economic activities such as spending their money, it is not impossible that the existing economic condition will be damaged. And this is about recession. In third condition, the asset bubble burst. The net cause of recession is the bursting of the asset bubble. This can happen when investors take steps rashly. For example, there was a massive purchase of stock on property with the assumption that the price would rise rapidly. Then, when the economy is faltering, they will sell it together, which result in panic selling and leads to a recession due to market breakdown. And 4, sudden economic shock. Another trigger for a recession is sudden economic shock. This is very important. This is market by decreased purchasing power due to financial difficulties and other serious problems such as perils of debt. The accumulated debt will affect the swelling interest that need to be paid and lead to the inability to pay it off or defaulting. 5. The development of technology or the technology development. A recession is an economic downturn that is not only caused by economic activity itself. Technological development also contribute to the recession. This can happen because of displaced jobs that have been replaced by leading technologies such as artificial intelligence, AI, and robots. As a result, employment will decrease dramatically and make the unemployment rate increase. 6. Imbalance between production and consumption. The imbalance between production and consumption is next trigger. Goods and services that are produced in excess with reduced level of consumption or purchasing power can be disaster for producers. This led to large-scale imports, ballooning corporate spending, and depleting domestic corporate profits. So we need to know if we are a business, we are moving in this business, we need to know about imbalance between production and consumption. And 7, import value is greater than export. Another indication of recession is the value of country's import is greater than its export. This can have an effect on the state budget deficit and decline international income. 8. High unemployment rate. A high employment rate in a country indicated that the country is experiencing a recession. This is because workforce in employment economic hacker a country. If the employment rate increases continuously, this will result in an increase in the crime rate. Broadly speaking, a recession is a situation that arises due to various factors. For example, financial crisis, making wrong economic decision, and supply chain disruption, external threat disruption, economic bubble burst, to factors beyond human control, and lots such as natural disaster or pandemic. And in 2020, 2021, and finished or done in 2022. So this is impact of an economic recession. This impact of a recession is the result that arises and affects several parties, including having an impact on the government, companies, and workers. First, the impact of economic recession of governors. The economic recession had quite a heavy impact on the government. When this condition occurs, of course, the unemployment rate will increase and the government is required to open as many jobs as possible. As a result, loans to foreign banks skyrocketed. The existence of a recession also makes tax and non-tax revenue low. This due to the deteriorating financial condition of the people on falling property price. Thus, the amount of VAT, value added tax, that enters that enters the state treasury become less. And the other hand, the government is also continuously encouraged to carry out development in the government sector. One of them is ensuring welfare of society with all demand that exists and the decline in tax revenues. The country has a budget deficit and the government's debt is higher. Okay. Second, the impact of the economic recession and on companies. A recession in an economic condition that can make a company go bankrupt. This is due to the decline in people's purchasing power, which has an impact and decreasing company revenues and threatening cash flow. In the end, the company will cut operational costs and close unprofitable business areas up to making tough decisions to carry out employee efficient. Third, the impact of the economic recession on workers like us. The impact of recession is an impact that is not only felt by the government and companies, but workers are also affected. Business area that will close and employee efficiency carried out the reduced operating costs caused many people to lose their job to lay off. Workers who were not laid off were also harmed by the reduction in their wages. This has become the driving force social instability, growing disparities everywhere and high crime rates. So as for the impact of the economic recession on market participants, business area that were closed and employee efficiency carry out to reduce operational costs caused many people to lose their jobs to the layoff. Workers who were laid off were harmed to the reduction of wages. Recession prevents waste. Recession is a condition that threatens many sectors. However, that does not mean the economic recession cannot be prevented. Here is how to prevent a recession. First, massive spending by the government. The way to prevent a recession is to strengthen purchasing power. The strategy that can be applied is to spend massively so that the economic turnover does not stall and the business world is moved to able to continue investing. MESE, a system, is a recession is a crisis that can occur in many sectors, one of which is MSME. By channeling assistance to MSME in the form of productive MSME and low interest loans, it is hoped that the wheels of the economic cycle can run well. This is, for me, tips on how to deal with economic recession. First, don't panic. Here's how to deal with economic recession for facing recession in 2023. The rise of the word recession in various media and online platform has made people increasingly restless, and a sense of panic has begun to infect one by one to Indonesian people in Indonesia. There is a lot of content circulating about how their situation will be when a recession comes. So we are offer reaction about this media, about this info from media social. We don't know if we facing in recession 23, what happened, we don't know. So you just don't panic. You need to know about how you can deal with economic recession in 2023. However, we should realize that not all information circulating the cathedral, because not a few of the information actually scarce without providing proper education, especially for ordinary people. This phenomenon is commonly known as fear-mongering, which is an action in which certain individuals or groups deliberately take advantage of other people's vulnerability to something that is a risk. As a result, people who feel anxious or afraid will be even more afraid and can lead to mental health disorders, such as depression. Even though the recession is a word with negative connotation, there's no need to panic. Here, ways to manage your money that you can do in the face of economic recession. Don't waste, try to save. Buy necessities as a necessary and try to meet basic needs properly. It is intended that the remaining funds can be allocated for other more important things, such as paying off debt, saving or investing, and preparing emergency funds. Second, paying off existing debt. So this is very important for us as constantly for Indonesian people. Try to be more conservative with debt, especially debt for consumer purpose. That's proportion of debt or healthy debt service ratio is below 30% of your monthly income. However, because you need to prepare yourself for a recession in next year, and we don't know what happened in next year, is a recession or no, but prepare yourself. It's a good idea to make that proportion smaller. In addition, make sure the debts you have can be paid off immediately. You can start with debt with high interest, because debt with large interest will greatly affect your cash flow. In Indonesia, lunasi hutangmu. Yeah. This is we speak in Indonesia. And 3, prepare an emergency fund and insurance. An emergency fund that needs to be prepared, ideally 3 until 6 months of the amount of your monthly expenses. This is meant to be in case something bad happens when the recession arrives. Next is insurance. Insurance is still needed, especially health insurance to minimize disruption to financial cash when large amount of funds suddenly needed for health problem. 4, start looking for additional income. Saving money can indeed help you maintaining healthy financial condition. However, it's good if you also have additional income so that the funds collected can meet sudden needs that might occur at any time. So this is tips for maintaining your business in the midst of a recession. First, doing market research. Market research is the activity of gathering information from the target market about the feasibility of new product or service and evaluating all product for your development. Market research allows brand to find target market and get feedback about consumer interests regarding the product or services offered. Therefore, a market research position is very important to ensure that you clearly understand the industry, target market, and business competition. Second, you can join the business community. So in 2023, we need to allow some community to up your business. So you can join the business community. You can join in a local business networking group, can help you meet people in a similar situation. So if we have a problem, we can find a new people in this community, and we can to can help you because we have a similar situation. Thus, you can exchange information about your product or your service that are suitable to market condition during a recession. Save as much as possible. Generous savings will help you weather the tough times that come your way and give you a cushion to lean on when to go and get tough recession. In addition, having saving will make your business continually more secure. Even though the global economic situation is currently in turmoil. Stop comparing yourself with others. Stop comparing your own shortcomings, traits with others, so you don't get discouraged. After all, every life journey is different. What works for other people may not work for you. Vice versa. Maintaining good relation with the people you meet is very important. The reason is you never know when you might need their help. Therefore, it was best to keep everyone friendly. In addition, good personal relationship will have a positive impact on the business you are running. If you have a problem with a client, the quality of work that goes into the client's project can be negatively affected. So sales weak contract in the future. Manage time to work more productively. Business will run well if you are able to reduce the use of time and energy for things that are not needed. If you succeed in doing this, productivity will be even bigger. Also, understand your target market and what they want from your business. Work will be more efficient if it runs on time. So, in Indonesia, we have a government strategy to face the threat of a 2023 recession. So Deputy for Macroeconomic and Finance, Coordinating Ministry for Economic Affairs, is call name Iskandar Simorangkir, said their strategies the government will implement in facing threat of 2023 recession. First, the strategy is to empower to hit domestic economy. When contact Betempo and Sunday. So a strategy that focuses on the domestic economy to capitalize on the potential of Indonesia population of more than 275 million people. Thus, the program should strengthen local product or the product made in Indonesia, PBE program continues to be encouraged. On the other hand, the government will also continue to downstream natural resource-based industry, SDA, to meet domestic and export needs. So the second strategy for from Indonesia government is controlling inflation. We are controlling inflation, especially food inflation. Iskandar revealed that food inflation is the main source of inflation in Indonesia. Thus, the garden planting movement, food estate, as well as increasing productivity and accelerating the growing season will continue to be promoted. Coupled with effort to facilitate the distribution of goods by cooperating between regions and subsidizing freight costs. Excuse me. Okay, this finally strategy for Indonesian government that includes improving the investment climate by implementing full online single submission through Indonesia. As for the World Economic Outlook International Monetary Fund, WEO IMF, in October 2022, in IMF corrected prediction of world economic by growth by 0.2% to 2.7%. Meanwhile, prediction for Indonesia economic growth are corrected by 0.0% to 5.0%. He claimed that Indonesia economic recovery is now continuing. So, Iskandar said there should be no need for continuous incentive for the community because fiscal capacity is now limited. Meanwhile, the director of the Center of Economics and Law Studies, CELIOS, Bima Yudhistira, actually assessed that the Indonesia government must immediately issue a policy package in anticipation of a world economic recession in 2023. So Bima said it's not enough just to do a stress test. He said when contacted by Indonesia about recession, we need to do the stress test. Bima said that the pressure that had been routinely carried out by the financial system stability. But what was currently urgently needed to be implemented was a policy package. The content of the policy package that he suggests include relaxation of value-added tax or PAT from 11% to 8%. According to him, the government needs to provide an additional allocation of social protection fund along with greater inter-subsidy assistance for micro, small, and medium enterprises, or MSME, than the addition of down payment subsidy to property, so wage subsidy for informal sector workers. Bima said that the anticipation of recession by the Indonesian government was still fragmentary, alias not in one coordination. For example, what happened to the component fund for an increase in fuel oil, BBM? In fact, he said the problem now is not about inflation cost raising full price. So there's a conclusion about material. We need to prepare, not about look your business, but we need to prepare. Look yourself, how you can manage yourself to face up a recession in 2023. If you ready, you don't need to afraid, you don't need to scare about recession next year. Okay, so thank you very much. This is the end for my material presentation. So I back to Ms. Novita. Thank you.
Thank you so much for Mr. Wibi for the amazing presentation. And for our audience, I'm apologize before for Mr. Rian, not available in this Zoom meeting because have another schedule. And then for the Q&A session will be continue with Mr. Wibi Alvianto and then Miss Hafizah Abdul Rahim. If you have any question for the speaker, please add them in the chat or raise hand and will be answered to answer some of the during the Q&A session. Yeah, for first question, this is we have from Miss Umaya Sabila. For Miss Umaya Sabila, the time is yours. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, maybe we can next to Miss Julie. Miss Julie, the time is yours for question. Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm sorry that I can go on cam since the camera been troubling so much. So what I wanted to ask is there's two questions. The first one is I wanted to ask to Mr. Wibi. As far as I know that there is some news that Indonesia will not be hidden on affected by the recession itself. I'm very curious. What is the factor that making Indonesia will be sustainable and will not be affected by recession in the future? And then the second question is for all the speaker that there is many ways to survive in recession. One of it is investment, but I'm very a beginner in this field, so I wanted a recommendation from you guys that what should I invest? What kind of invest that will survive in recession? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for Miss Julie for your question. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
we will answer first.
Okay. Okay, give a minute.
For Miss Hafiz, maybe you will answering first. Okay.
Okay. To respond to Miss Julie, am I right? What is the best investment during recession? I would suggest that during recession, especially we are approaching 2023, the best is investing in gold. Investing in gold, meaning that when you buy gold, so you can indirectly you save for investment. So we know that gold is what we call that something that in terms of price is stable throughout the years, and it has been proven that investing in gold is better, especially during the recession. So that is the first response to Miss Julie. And then second investment that perhaps you can explore as a beginner, because we know that if we explore if we start to join like short-term investment like stock exchange, so on and so forth, that will be a bit risky. Okay, so because we are now has been warned by World Bank and then around the globe, okay, the economists mentioned that next year will be downturn. So a bit risky if you join, if you invest your portfolio in stock investment. I mean saham. Okay, so this is the best answer that I can provide for you, and you can choose one platform, the best and initiative that you can have. You can save money that is giving a good return in dividends to if you can spend your investment for what we call it's not high return, but good in terms of dividend or profit, especially end of the end of year. Okay, thank you. That's only my response to Miss Julie. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
If
Yeah.
from me, yeah, thank you, Miss. In Indonesia, we know rupiah is so go down in a recession. So I'm agree about you can save your gold, and maybe second you can invest something about invest defensive stocks. You can consumer free stocks tend to see strong gains when the economic is growing, just as utility stocks and consumer staple stocks tend to be insulated from these ups and downs during a recession. Defensive stock can help protect a portfolio. And maybe second from me, you can prepare cash during a recession. The first step to be prepared is cash. Well, advisor Citi Global Wealth Michelle Griffith said, as companies cut back and job losses in, it is better to prepare and increase cash reserves. So maybe that we can survive in recession 2023. So second question is, okay. What the factor Indonesia can be survives, yeah, in recession 2023. So we don't know about in recession 2023 in Indonesia, but we must prepare. So this is about factor why Indonesia can be survived in recession 2023. In Indonesia, in the midst of increasing global uncertainty, Bank Indonesia is still optimistic that national economic growth will continue to improve through the year. So this is Bank Indonesia is optimistic. The Indonesia economic will continue to grow strongly between 4.5% to grow up in 5.3% this year. Economic growth in 2022 is expected to remain upwards within the range projected by Bank Indonesia. This is a cite from Bank Indonesia Governor Peri Warijoyo in a press conference in Jakarta. In fact, inflationary pressures in various developed countries will continue to increase, such as inflation in the United States, which is estimated to reach 8.2% for the year. This superpower is estimated to grow only this superpower is estimated to grow only 2.5% in 2022. So, Harry explained Indonesia economic growth until the end of the year will still be strong due to several things. From the external side alone, Indonesia export performance is expected to remain strong due to the high demand for the country's superior commodities. Especially, we have coal, CPO, and iron, and still in line with the demand from several main trading partners, which is still strong, and the government policy to encourage export of CPO and its derivatives. So I think this is a factor how can Indonesia can survive in recession 2023. Thank you.
Thank you for answering, Mr. Wibi. And then the next question, this is from Miss Umaya. From Miss Umaya, the time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Novita. Good morning, good afternoon, sir. My name is Umaya Sabil Sujaro. My nickname is Aya, and I have some ask to you. First, if most countries experience a recession, what about countries that have problem with hunger? Will there a drastic reduction in the dead population in their countries? How do we deal with it? Second, the impact of a recession is an increase in interest rates. Why was this done? Called it reduction the impact of a recession? Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for give a question for Miss Umaya. Maybe from Mr. Wibi or Miss Hafizah who will answering first. Thank you.
Can I ask for her to repeat it again, the question?
Pardon, Miss?
Can I ask Miss Umaya to repeat it again, the question?
Oh. Okay. Okay, ma'am. First, if most countries experience a recession, what about countries that have problem with hunger? Will there a drastic reduction in the dead population in their countries? How do we deal with it? And second, the impact of a recession is an increase in interest rates. Why was this done? Could it reduce the impact of a recession? Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for Miss Umaya.
Okay, I try to understand. Okay, I will respond to both questions for Miss Umaya. Okay, the first one is the country who suffer hunger or starvation. Okay, so basically during recession, the best policy or the best programs that can be implemented, because when it comes to the problem of hunger or starving, female problems. Okay, this is not the problem of people, the problem of individual, but the problem of hunger is this is the process. I mean, the solution should be come from the government. Okay, so the best issue that we know nowadays, we have, like, you know, sustainable development goals mentioned based on the United Nations. Among the 70 initiative for SDGs is to provide what we call sustainability in terms of food security. So in terms of food security, this is the thing that government for that particular country need to take into consideration, that they have to allocate for budget, especially for people get hunger for the certain country, especially the underdeveloped countries. So this is my response to the first question. And for the second question, it's regarding the interest rate, right? So interest rate during recession, why government, or especially central bank, will impose the to increase the interest rate? Because the situation is that to what we call to control, especially business, you know, to control the situation, especially in economy activity, to avoid the raise in price in goods and services. So when the rising price during the recession will lead to another problem of inflation. So that's why central bank will what we call set a bit higher interest rate in order to make sure that this situation to control the problem of inflation. So this is my response for the second question. So Miss Umaya, what you can see is that you try to understand the concept of contractionary and contractionary monetary or fiscal policy, this situation to whether to combat the situation of recession. That's why the especially government will what we call increase the rate of interest. Okay, thank you, Navita.
Thank you so much for Mr. Vita for the clear answering. And then for Mr. Wibi, you will answer or no? Thank you. Okay, maybe we can go to the next question to Mr. Adi Nugroho. Yeah, for Mr. Adi Nugroho, the time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Novita. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, my camera is cannot on because it's broken. I would like to ask to Miss Hafizah, especially in this recession, usually the biggest problem is before recession, usually there's a bubble economy. Most of problem of bubble economy is property. Okay, we all know about that. Most people think that invest on the property is a good one, but in the recession, it's become a biggest problem because it's a long-term investment, and most of people doing investment in property using debt. It's not real money, but debt. And suddenly they have lost job and they cannot sell their house, and everybody, many people sell their house in the recession, and that's create a more and more problem in this recession condition. And so I would like to ask you, what is Malaysian government do to deal with this problem? Okay, maybe I would like to tell you a story about my neighbor. They make an investment on the dormitory, you know, dormitory, and suddenly there is a COVID, and thousands of students don't need dormitory and they study at home. And they collapse only because the prediction is wrong, and this is the condition that everybody cannot detect. So what is Malaysian government do in this case? Okay, maybe that's my question. Okay, thank you.
Okay, welcome, Brother Adi Nuguro, for the interesting question. It's reflect to the bubble situation, especially before recession. Okay, before I'm trying to respond to this question. Okay, what I want to highlight here, the problem of dormitory investment, investment of business that will actually fall under cyclical industry. Okay, so where as I explained earlier in my presentation, cyclical industry actually will come together part and part with the recession. If anything happen during the recession, so it will affect to the what you call the industry itself.
The industry,
So so my point is that those who are not, especially those who are not get involved with the property investment, because we are being warning. Okay, we are being warning that next year going to be a downturn economy. So we try our best to avoid to invest in properties. But if the case of we already joined, the business owner already joined before, so the problems due to COVID, and then the process of control order, and then they have to close the business. So I will explain in the case of what happened in Malaysia. Okay, so this situation also reflects, it's not only for dormitory businesses, but also in education service. Okay? Because
I just make an example. There's many businesses.
So for example, in education service also affect due to the situation of COVID-19, because the students cannot come back to the hostel, and then they don't want to pay for the fees for tuition fee for the hostel, for example. So what a government, especially Malaysian government, do is that we have a stimulus package, which is I would share the current research that I'm doing on economic recovery plans under state government, which is I'm collaborating with state economic planning unit in Perlis. So government has provide incentive. Okay, it's not a huge money, but incentive to to assist these business owner in order to sustain. But at the same time, the what we call the strategies that we discussed earlier should be placed by the practice by the business owner and entrepreneurs. So because we know that incentive or package that provided by government is very what we call a very temporary financing, a very short-term financing, that if we don't move to the next step, I mean looking for the what is the best alternative that we can replace. So diversifying the portfolio, meaning the business owner perhaps find an alternative to cover the current business, like dormitory, the rental industry, for example, to cover for the current business. That is a simple response to the what actually Malaysian government do for this situation, Brother Adi.
Okay. Is there any just like a restructuring process in the bank, or maybe
restructure in terms of
restructure the debt?
Yeah, in terms of restructuring debt, also the what we call the Bank Negara also did what we call like 6-month moratorium. I'm not sure. So we do have like moratorium, especially for those who have car financing, house financing. So within the 6-month moratorium, that the education money that's supposed to be paid for financing, house financing, car financing, we can use to save during the what we call the urgent time or the downturn the crisis time. So this is also a part and partial that Malaysian government done during the COVID-19. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to Miss Novita.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for answering question, Miss Hafiz. Yeah, and then I guess no one else asking again. May I continue to session for time for documentation for take a picture, and then Miss Feby will be handle it.
Miss
Yeah.
Novita,
Yes.
I'm looking at the one question in the chat box. Can I respond to brother Amin Tohari because he's write down this questions here.
I'm about just before Miss because our webinar event is a time for over. So
Okay.
we need to closing this event.
So for brother Amin Tohari, if you want my respond to your question, please feel free to write down email to me, hafizarahim@unimed.edu.my. I would love to respond your question because it much related to my area as well because I'm in the background of Islamic economy as well. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Over to you.
No, tambah aja.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah.
Tambah aja.
Maaf Pak, berhubung.
Waktunya
Ya.
Oke lah.
Yeah. Yeah, for Miss Febri, you can handle it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Novita. For those who haven't activated the camera, you can active or open camera first, so we can take photos together. Okay, let me confirm 1, 2, 3. Next slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, can you smile? 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. I will return the event, Miss Novita.
Thank you for Miss Febri. Finally, we come to the end of webinar today. We would like to say thanks again for our speaker for their wonderful information. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. We hope this information will be beneficial for our audience. And I hope we can meet again in another event in the future. Yeah, maybe for Miss Hafizah, you can write your email in the room chat. Okay. Okay, also I would like to thanks for our participants for attending this webinar and making this event more interesting. At last, we hope to have more collaboration in the future. This webinar for today ends here. We hope to see you soon. Thank you so much and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Novita.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Miss Hafiz,
Mr. Wibi. Okay, bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I think that's enough for today's event. Thank you. Good afternoon. Have a good rest. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks all.